As a YouTuber, it can be hard to know what to have as your background. I actually have redone my background so many different times, and I've moved houses. I've lived in a tiny apartment where I had no other space but to film in front of my bed inside my bedroom, which at the time was also my closet, and it was also my gym and my office and my recording studio. And now I am in a little bit of a bigger space, so I have a dedicated office, but my office is now my office and also my recording studio and also my gym, which you wouldn't know unless you looked over there. So, it's pretty crazy. It wasn't until recently that I realized that I shouldn't just stand in front of a wall. I literally used to sit in this corner over here, and you see where this little, can't point. You see this little chair. I would sit in this chair, and I had this little picture behind me. I specifically bought this picture so that I could have kind of an aesthetic image behind me with these little grid lines. And then I also used this plant that was over there behind me. And other times I would kind of test things out, and I would film in front of a blank wall, or I would film in my living room in front of the same tree. This was my prop tree for the longest time. And like I said, it wasn't until recently that I realized that I need to actually give myself space behind me to make the video look a little bit more professional. And in addition to that, I realized that the best way to do that is to sit in front of the window. So I'm actually right next to the window. I've seen people film where it looks like they're sitting in the middle of the room. Like you would think when I first saw someone else filming with a similar setup, that, their desk being up against the window kind of looked like it was, to me, I assumed it was in the middle of the room. So I thought that their room was so much bigger than mine, and it kept going all the way. And it wasn't until, I kind of got a behind the scenes video look at some of these big YouTubers and how they did their setup. And in fact, one of them had a teeny tiny apartment, and in a room probably even smaller than this, made it look like it was so big because of the fact that they did two things. One, they sat next to the window. They did a 45 angle actually to the window, which helps the natural sunlight to look really aesthetically pleasing, on one side of your face. And then you have the lights off so that the other side of your face is a little bit darker, and it just naturally kind of looks more professional. And then the other thing that's really key is to film with your background being the corner of the room. That makes it look like it's so much bigger, because for the longest time, I would just, like I said, I would just pick one wall, and that would be my wall. But now I've realized that if I film in the corner behind me, then I can get kind of a multiple perspective, and it makes it look like the room is so much bigger. And then of course having, my desk be nice and clean so that it looks like, one, that I'm a clean person, and two, that I'm professional. But, at the end of the day, it is just so important to make sure that you're bringing value in your videos. But at the end of the day, it's honestly pretty simple, but it just took a while for me to realize that a very specific setup looks more aesthetically pleasing than other setups. So I hope that you keep a couple of these simple tips in mind for when you're filming your next YouTube video. Another thing that I've recently leveled up is my sound. So this is actually a very, very simple little microphone here, and I'm kind of testing out with different microphones, but this is just a little handheld thing, which I'll show you what it looks like. As you can see, it's got a clip on the back of it, so I could clip it to my shirt, but right now I'm wearing a low shirt, so it'd be kind of far away. I kind of have to test things out and see how it sounds and what makes the most sense. But honestly, I've seen so many YouTubers just holding up their mic. I feel like it's become the norm. Even on Instagram, I feel like you see these interview reels where people, they kind of do the same thing. They have a 90-degree angle, and it looks like they're interviewing someone. Hey, and what do you think about this? Oh, well, my perspective is XYZ. And it makes them sound and look so much more professional if it looks like they're being interviewed, even though they're just talking to their camera with a side angle. And keeping that in mind with having a 45-degree angle to the window, I think is really important as well. But more so, the other thing that I did to make my sound a little bit better is I also added a little bit more dampening to this room. So I added this big rug here, and this rug is just nice and fluffy, and it's just like anything that you can do to make kind of an empty space sound a little less echoey, because when the room is echoey, the audio quality just isn't good. I mean, it can sound like crisp, but yet still harder to understand. I mean, it's the simplest things. I think because also so many YouTubers use professional microphones nowadays that our ears and our minds just automatically are used to hearing high quality audio. I feel like a lot of viewers have the patience to sit through poor visual quality, like in the video, if things are blurry or whatever, but I don't think people ever really want to sit through poor audio quality. I think people are much less likely to sit through poor audio quality, myself included. There's a couple of YouTubers that I've stumbled upon that I actually really enjoy their content, but I cannot listen to them because they have their settings on something really weird where it sounds really high pitched, and like really high pitched sounds like totally bother me. Like those, those little like high pitched dog noises that are supposed to like keep dogs within like fences or something like that, like a high pitched thing goes off. That totally impacts me. Like I hear those all the time. Like my husband installed a bunch of those for our plants so that the animals wouldn't eat our plants in our garden, and I can't go near our garden. It works on me. Anyway, all that to say, you really want to have good quality audio. And like I said, I'm going to continue to test out different ones. I actually have a really nice microphone over there for my recording studio because I'm a singer-songwriter as well. And so right now that microphone is kind of reserved for my singing and songwriting and my recording for my professional music. But, maybe I'll start using that as well and kind of test it out and see how it goes. I mean, I know that one's definitely better than this one, but at the same time, this one is so much more convenient because I don't have to have it like attached to my desk. I can literally just take this and, I can take you on a house tour or whatever, I can take you on the go. We can go vlogging. Hey, we can hang out. We can get coffee with this little microphone here. It's pretty cool. And it's very simple. So I've actually got a little carrying case for it. And inside the carrying case, it comes with 2 of these. So if one dies, then I have a second one immediately ready. And then this little spot, so this one right here, it just pops in there like this. Actually, I don't want to put it in there because I don't want to mess up the recording, but you get the idea. It goes in there. It fits. And then the other spot that you see that's empty is actually the Bluetooth piece that is plugged in to just the outlet of my phone. So I have a USB-C on my phone. So it's just the USB-C connector. So if you have a phone that has that specific setup, then it just plugs right in like to where the charging port is. And it's really nice because it just plugs directly in, and then this case not only holds it, but it charges it as well. So there's actually, as you can see, there's a little hole here in the back, and I can just charge that case, and then it's geared up to go, and I can take it with me wherever. I mean, I've used this so many times and actually haven't charged it for like a while. Like, I'm actually really impressed at how long the charge stays. So if you're interested in this specific microphone, I'll leave a link to it in the description. I got it on Amazon. It was pretty affordable. So anyway, with that said, those are the 2 things that I recently did to kind of level up my video quality. And that is, like I said, just improving the space that I'm filming and giving myself more background space so that I'm not just sitting against a wall. It adds more depth to the video. And I think it just a little bit more like peace of mind because, if you're filming in front of a blank space, not only does it not look as professional, but I feel like people are more likely to kind of get distracted. And, if there's something that just looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing behind you, it's easier to kind of like stay engaged. And same thing goes for audio. If you have good audio, people will feel like more connected to you just because it sounds soothing to their ears. If it doesn't sound soothing, then they're going to, take the first jump that they can to get off the video. As soon as some ad comes up, they're just going to be like, I'm out. I don't want to listen to that anymore. And just for reference, I'll show you what it sounds like when I'm not speaking into this microphone in this room as well. This is what it sounds like, just me talking directly to the camera. One, I probably don't sound as loud as I did before because I'm talking at the exact same volume. If I want you to hear me a little bit better, then I have to talk like this. And that makes my entire voice echo because as you can see in this room, it echoes. It makes a difference. It's very echoey. I have filmed a handful of videos in this room without a microphone, and it wasn't until I started filming with a microphone that I realized how much of a difference it makes and how much I really needed the microphone. In some cases, if you don't have a microphone, you can even get little headphones Like, these are just like your typical headphones that you'd get from Apple, and you can actually speak into this speaker and it actually comes out okay. I'm not saying it's a great microphone, but I mean, if you have nothing else, you could like hide the cord in your shirt and you could use that as a microphone or hold it up here how I'm doing, like, whatever works for you. But that even itself can help reduce like the echo and things like that. Or if you're in a busy space or you're outside and their wind is blowing or something like that, just anything that you can do to kind of like get the sound to be a little bit more direct to the source. It just makes it sound crisper, clearer. And on top of that, I don't have to be super loud either. So everyone around me isn't like, what is she talking about? Why is she just like talking to her phone, like making it super obvious that I'm a YouTuber. Everyone's a content creator these days, right? Like I don't even get worried about like walking around in public and talking to my phone, but that's a whole different thing. That's a whole nother conversation. If you're holding a little microphone, you don't have to shout. You can just talk and be, totally chill, totally calm, unless you just have a lot of energy all the time, which is usually my type of content. Honestly, I do have a lot of energy, but I don't always want to yell. So this makes it a little bit easier for me to just chat with you. And I don't know, it kind of makes it feel like more of a connected experience. Like we're just hanging out. We're just two buddies grabbing coffee, sitting in front of our computers, whatever. If you don't have a coffee, that's fine. I forgive you. Cheers. I just also started drinking coffee in like the last year or so. Yeah, I'm officially a coffee drinker. Only a little bit though. I've never been a big caffeine person. Okay, I'm getting off topic. Anyways, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for exploring my new video recording studio. I hope you like it. I'm definitely still going to move some things around here because like this whole situation is a little bit too busy for what I would prefer for it to look like. And also this picture, it's like this really nice world map picture, but it's a little bit too high because it's out of the camera angle. I've also been working on making sure that I get like a really good angle. So, right now my camera is very eye level. So I want to feel like I'm talking directly to you. Whereas I used to film with like my camera up here a little bit because I don't know what it is. Like for the longest time, I don't know if it's like something I learned when I was in high school back in the day or what, but like I would take selfies like, way up high. And so then when I first started filming, I would film from up high. I'd be like, hi guys, how's it going? And not only does it like not feel great for you yourself to like film while looking up, but it also kind of feels weird for the viewer because they feel like they're looking down on you. They don't feel like they're at your level. So that's another tip that I've recently implemented that I feel like has been really helping me with my YouTube game is making sure that we are eye level. I'm talking directly to you. We're just right here on the same level. And I've seen other people with their phone a little bit lower as well. And if the camera is below you, then two things happen. One, I never want to feel like I'm looking up somebody's nose when they're like talking on YouTube. I'm like, I don't need to have that, that visual. And then also on top of that, like it feels almost like they're talking down to you. And I don't ever want my audience to feel like I'm talking down to you. Like I definitely want to feel like we're right on the same level. Like I said, we're just hanging out, we're chatting. Sometimes I use teleprompter. Right now I'm not using it just because I just wanted to hang out and just kind of riff and like tell you what my thoughts are. I used to have about 80% of my videos were like that, where I would literally just like have a topic on my mind that I just wanted to share with you. And then I feel like it's really raw and real. And I feel like we connect. In fact, my top performing videos, like top performing videos, like ones that have made me nearly $1,000 are videos where I was just talking. In fact, my top video, I'll talk about this in a whole nother video later, but my very top video right now that has like made me the most amount of money was just me talking to the camera about something that was on my mind. And it is so crazy to think that that's possible, that you can earn money by just simply sharing things that are on your mind and bringing value to people from your unique perspective. If that's something of interest to you, or if you'd like me to personally work with you to help you on your YouTube journey, then I encourage you to click the link in my description that'll show you exactly how you can work directly with me, and I can help you along your YouTube growth journey as well. Thanks so much for being here. I hope that this was insightful for you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And if you're interested in learning more, I encourage you to watch this video next.